some, the coronavirus may feel like a distant memory, but for most, the tumultuous times that accompanied the pandemic are still front of mind. And with a global energy crisis, exorbitant levels of inflation, and a seemingly constant squeeze on the labour supply pushing the world economy to the brink of recession, 2023 is set to be another challenging period for businesses. So, to help hiring organisations plan for the year ahead and stay ahead of the competition in talent attraction and retention, I'm back with my annual roundup of the top 5 recruitment trends to look out for in the year ahead. Hi, it's Emily Gregson here at Signature Career Management, where our passion is placing leading FMCG talent who transform the commercial performance of teams and organisations across the world. So, if you're looking to boost the commercial performance of your business, be sure to hit the subscribe and click the link in the description to follow our LinkedIn company page for up-to-date market insight, career advice, recruitment tips and general all-round good content. But without further ado, let's get started. With the challenging economic environment of the past few years, businesses may have an overwhelming feeling that every time they get over one obstacle, another one comes into view. But with any threat, there is always opportunity, so those that are fully prepared for the difficulties ahead will have a chance to emerge from the other side stronger than ever. Given the role that people play in an organisation's ability to weather storms, I thought I'd round up the top 5 recruitment trends for 2023 to enable businesses to plan for the tricky period ahead and provide themselves with a strong footing to kick on from when the good times finally return. Then, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll give you my top tips for tweaking your recruitment strategy so that you can take advantage of the changing recruitment landscape as we move through 2023. So let's get on with it. There was a period that immediately followed lockdowns where businesses were being inundated with applications whenever they posted a job advert. Although it won't be to the same extent, as the economy constricts and redundancies inevitably ensue, we're likely to experience a similar situation in 2023. The problem back then, and what will ultimately be the case again, is the lack of suitability of the candidates who are applying for jobs. This caused problems for businesses first time around, who mistook quantity for quality, leaving them with a false sense of security around their access to talent. Unfortunately, for those that haven't learnt from these mistakes, they'll end up losing ground to their competition as they trawl through applications hoping to find a diamond in the rough. Yes, there will be an inevitable readjustment in the year ahead from what has been an extremely candidate-led market to a slightly less candidate-led market. Unfortunately though, for those who think this will result in a glut of readily available, highly qualified candidates, they're going to be sadly disappointed. What we will likely find in the upcoming year, which we have already started to see, is businesses doing all they can to retain their top talent, whilst the rest of the marketplace becomes overwhelmed with less qualified active candidates. This talent pool will become more active than ever as they seek out jobs during recessionary times. Whereas the well-looked-after passive talent pool will be even more coveted and will subsequently become more passive as they are inundated with cold approaches about job opportunities. It was always hard to access these talent pools, but will become increasingly difficult. So unless businesses have already embarked on a long-term strategy to network with the best talent in their industry, the scarcity of these talent pools will be a real challenge for them in 2023. The squeeze on high-performing talent pools and the subsequent indifference they'll have towards the increased volume of approaches that result will mean that no matter how good your recruitment strategy is at accessing these candidates, there'll be an inevitable shortfall in 2023 that will need to be made up elsewhere. One of the benefits of a loosening of the tight labour supply is that there will be plenty of talent to pick from, but only if you can extract value from the new market conditions. And businesses will be able to do this if they can identify and attract high potential candidates. These are the ones who possess the attitudes and behaviours that will enable them to flourish if given the right training and development. Done correctly, a buy and build talent strategy like this can benefit from the value added to employees on the upward curve of their careers. But it is also highly effective at developing sustainable workplace cultures that combat staff turnover. Unfortunately though, in the throwaway society that we live in, particularly during an era that has overseen the Great Resignation, many businesses are reluctant to invest in employees if they can't envisage a return on investment during their tenure. It's for this reason that it will be crucial that businesses adapt outdated, cost-focused search methodologies. These focus on the easier to access skills and experience of candidates. Instead, they should focus their search in the upcoming year on the softer characteristics required to make a buy and build approach feasible. This will open up talent pools and provide businesses with access to candidates with the attributes that make them high potential. It is these candidates that can justify the levels of investment required to help them realise their full potential and provide the much needed return on investment. Companies who embrace this process of identifying and qualifying candidates in 2023 will not only benefit from overcoming the skills shortage of top-tier talent, but will also be on the right footing for growth when the economy begins to pick up again. Big challenges lie ahead in talent attraction. However, as has become apparent over the past few years, talent retention will need to be top of the agenda as we move into 2023, as high levels of employee turnover threaten the very existence of businesses who are still reeling from the aftermath of the Great Resignation. Many still perceive purpose as a top-level commitment to initiatives such as social justice or environmental sustainability. However, corporate purpose has become commonplace and somewhat predictable. For this reason, businesses who want to leverage advantage in talent retention moving forward will need to take a more personable approach to purpose if they want to develop and position unique workplace cultures that will stand out from the crowd. For those whose teams have been decimated by the pandemic and the subsequent Great Resignation, this provides an opportunity to revisit their core values, and teams should be encouraged to take a more active role in identifying them to ensure greater organisational buy-in. It shouldn't stop there though. Values will need to become an integral part of the daily activities of a business to really drill them home so that employees start to live and breathe them. When the organisational values are shared by teams and individuals and they feed into the mission and purpose of the business, it then provides an opportunity to develop a unity and belonging and can ward off the threat of employee turnover as we move through 2023. Obviously, purpose is far more nuanced than just defining values, and in fact there are many elements that feed into this aspect of organisational culture, such as diversity and inclusion, which is featured in my last 2 recruitment trends videos. Ultimately though, businesses who want to actively fend off the scourge of high employee turnover are going to need to take a far more active role in positively influencing their company cultures. Defining a purpose that resonates with the team and each individual's whys provides the perfect opportunity to do this. With the challenges of the last few years and the firefighting approach that businesses have had to take towards talent attraction and retention, it's understandable if they have taken their eye off the ball when it comes to their employer brand. For many, this has certainly been the case. However, as the market starts to settle, or as some may see it stagnate, businesses will become more reliant on their employer brands to address the market conditions. Many of the employer brands that were prominent pre-pandemic will have been irreparably altered over the last few years. But as I have previously discussed, with every threat comes opportunity, and 2023 definitely offers this. Businesses will have a chance to rebuild and redefine their employer brands to make them competitive in talent attraction and retention, not just over the next 12 months, but for years to come. Elements of what I have discussed around purpose will feed into this, and if businesses start to actively recruit on attitude and behaviours to provide growth and development opportunities, this should also feature prominently. In short though, businesses will need to look holistically at the granular elements that feed into their employer brand and consider their touch points with the candidate market, in particular the candidate experience, so that they can leverage their efforts in this area to attract talent. As discussed, the market will still be challenging for in-demand talent, and recruiters are going to need to play their role in the representation of employer brands and delivery of the candidate experience. Businesses are going to have to work closely with external agencies who represent them to ensure they don't prevent them from fully utilising their employer brand. Otherwise, this could prevent them from competing in the talent stakes as we move into 2023 and beyond. Now, I'm talking in very broad terms here because there will definitely be some recruitment agencies who won't fall into this trap, my own included, but in 2023 we're likely to see a fall in standards across the recruitment industry. This is going to be extremely testing for businesses looking to mitigate the challenging trends I've already outlined in this video. Unfortunately, this is symptomatic of an industry that often adds a short-term approach, which is done to capitalise on the substantial quick wins available to those who are prepared to exploit widespread market practices. A contributory factor in the likely fall-off in standards is the recruitment boom of the past 18 months that resulted from a bounce back following enforced economic lockdowns. Recruitment businesses seeking to take advantage of these good times were busy snapping up consultants by enticing them with inflated salaries. With a relatively short turnaround in economic conditions, this has led to many agencies being overexposed to recessionary times. In an attempt to qualify the financial legitimacy of their well-paid consultants, many are likely to ease cash flow concerns by dropping their prices in a bid to win business in a tightening market. Faced with their own challenging financial conditions, many hiring organisations will find the temptation of low upfront recruitment costs too much to resist. Unfortunately, these will only be sustainable through lowered service levels and further exploiting the financial quick wins which benefit no one other than the agencies trying to bolster their own solvency. This is likely to heap misery both in the short and medium term for businesses who fall into this trap. The other option for agencies who are finding themselves overexposed as the market starts to slow down in 2023 is by easing cash flow through redundancies. However, this drives a cart and horse through agencies' ability to deliver consistency, which is critical for maintaining the high standards necessary for addressing the challenging environment ahead. All but the consultancies with a long-term agenda will have their service standards negatively impacted by the economic downturn, which will make it challenging for businesses who use outside support to recruit as we move through 2023. So there are my top 5 recruitment trends for 2023, and it's set to be a challenging year ahead for a lot of businesses. For those who are well prepared though and adjust their approach to take advantage of the changing landscape, there's plenty of opportunity to steal a march on their competition and set themselves up nicely when conditions start to ease. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I have a top tip for businesses to consider that will position them to take advantage of the changing landscape, and this is to better integrate their search and selection functions with their onboarding process. For those lucky businesses who have the resources to manage all of these elements in-house, they'll have better control over these processes. But for those that utilise outside agencies to fulfil aspects of their talent strategy, it's going to require better collaboration with their partners. Get this right though, and you'll address many of the issues outlined in this video. You'll be better positioned to get top-tier talent up to speed more quickly, enabling you to extract greater value from them if you've had to commit more resources to secure them. It will also provide businesses who assess attitudes and behaviours throughout the search and selection process to develop bespoke onboarding systems that work best with certain learning styles. It also demonstrates investment in people and enables businesses to instill vision, purpose and values from the outset and provide the continuity to ingrain them. And this in turn will help businesses to provide the consistency that enables them to reinforce their employer brands. This will help to keep their standards high as many around them are seeing widespread dips. It may be tempting to cut back on recruitment spend, and there will be plenty of opportunity to do this. But for businesses who want to effectively address the changing recruitment landscape as we move into 2023, my overwhelming advice is that now is not the time to let standards drop. It's the time to raise them. Well, that's it for now. As ever, it would be great to know what you think. Hit subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you follow our LinkedIn company page. And for those who haven't checked it out yet, we have a new resources page on our website, which you can find the link for in our bio and provide some really useful insight to give you an edge in the current challenging job space.